I've got these ducks and a mama duck which quack every once in a while. When I press my spacebar, mama duck starts following the mouse and all the other ducks start following mama duck in a roly manner. Let's take a look at my duck class. When it is enabled and disabled, it adds and removes itself from the duck manager ducks list, which is the list of ducks we'll get in a row. I also have a mama duck class which inherits the duck class, retaining all of the functionality of a duck and only overrides the onEnable method to make sure it is placed at the beginning of the ducks list. Our ducks have two follow modes, follow transform and follow mouse. Each of these modes has its own class, both of which inherit the abstract class follow, which is why we can store a reference to an instance of either of them by storing a reference to the abstract class instead. When we start following either the transform or the mouse, we first store a reference to a new instance of our respective follow-derived class, and then run its start following method, which sets its public isFollowing boolean on. Then, in the update method, we call their getNextPosition and getNextRotation methods to modify our transform position and rotation. Let's take a look at our follow abstract class. Besides the boolean variable that tells us it's currently following, it has some variables that help handle the actual moving and rotating logic. And besides its constructor and the start following method, it has four important methods. Two versions of getNextPosition and two versions of getNextRotation. The protected versions take a vector3 as position and run their logic to return the respective vector3 or quaternion. The protected access modifier makes it so they can only be called by this class and the classes that inherit it. These methods will always run the same logic, and the vector3 that is passed into them will depend on the other two methods. These other two versions are what are known as abstract methods. This means that they don't have a body, and it must be provided by the classes that inherit the abstract class. We can see how our follow transform and follow mouse class, which inherit the follow abstract class, override these abstract methods and simply call the other two methods that handle the logic while passing on the mouse position or transform position respectively. These are the methods that are being called by the duck class. Just like mama duck inherits all the behavior from duck, follow transform and follow mouse also inherit all the behavior from following, while having to override all abstract members. And when their constructors are called, they call the constructor of the follow abstract class. And while one stores a reference to the transform being followed, the other has a property to easily access the current mouse position in my favorite format. What all this achieves is that regardless of whether my ducks follow the transform or the mouse, they can use the same logic in the duck class and avoid running some if checks, as well as keeping the code cleaner and better encapsulated, which is helpful when scaling your projects.
Disclaimer alert, I don't fully know what I'm talking about.